This drip all on my body, soaking wet the sunny. Looking like a walking liquor, you can tell I'm grinding. Rolling back was full of loud, I can't hear nobody. Disrespect and get laid down.
What's up, fuckers? Episode 30, the Beer Latte Show. I'm Steve.
I'm Nick.
Danielle.
And today we're going to talk about reincarnation. Danielle, what are your thoughts?
I believe in reincarnation. Do you?
Still not convinced.
Do you think that there could be reincarnation?
I don't know how it's possible yet.
What about you, Nick?
I'm also on the fence. I think the more I talk to other people, the more I'm like, there might be a possibility. When you get into like past life regression and all that shit, it sounds kind of like unexplainable. I don't know. Sometimes if it's unexplainable, it could also just be facts that shit does happen. That our souls do bounce from body to body.
What about like, do you think that we could, well, because everything's like recycled. Like everything is recycled into something different, no matter what it is. Like water is recycled into steam. Metal could be recycled down into whatever, liquid, you know, shit like that. So I feel like, where's the ether of your soul go? It's got to be recycled somewhere.
If you're conscious about recycling. You gotta make sure you put the soul in the blue bin.
Yeah, because honestly, if you don't recycle yourself,
Yeah, then you fuck
you
up.
should just throw it away.
Like, ah, shit. Yeah, like I didn't compost my soul. Now what?
I don't know. I just feel like there's got to be, even in like, I feel like when I was a little girl, I used to always like read this kid's Bible, and they would always say like, you know, what's the verse that I used to think about? Like, Jesus was born again. And like now we think of born again being Jesus was baptized and born again, you know?
Yeah.
But could they have taken that out in the Bible? Yeah, they certainly could have, because the Romans got a hold of it and they wanted people to like, you know, obey the law and stuff like that. So I was thinking that for sure it could have been taken out, just so people wouldn't think that they could do whatever the fuck they wanted.
Yeah, so you can't be a dick because you're like, oh, well, I'll just get born again before I die.
Yeah.
And that'll be good.
I'll just go kill a few people and fuck it, I'll come back again.
I'm still not convinced because we keep growing as a population, so I'm not convinced that souls can fully be like recycled to something else.
Well, are we only here though? Maybe we're on other planets, other dimensions, other things. It's just energy. We're just energy. Even our bodies are just energy. Can I say energy one more time?
I'm not convinced yet that we're just energy, that we can, because that you have to like, I'd have to be here and also somewhere else, living in like a parallel universe to order to, like, how's the population grow? That makes no sense. It means
I think you're thinking way too linear.
I'd have to be here and also in like fucking India today, because the population is getting bigger and bigger for the world.
Well, right. But I think what Danielle's trying to say is, while the Earth population grow, how do we not know like planet 278B's population isn't shrinking, and their souls are then coming into our Earth? As in, like, when you die, maybe your soul you don't have to be a human again. You don't even have to be on this planet again. You could be an alien that could come over to Earth and fuck people up for fun. That could be your day job.
Wait, what?
I don't know. Do aliens have day jobs?
I don't know. Apparently they're driving blimps in New Jersey.
Yeah, that was the saddest thing ever. Monday night, like, on the news, there was the fucking blimp in New Jersey, or blimp, it was a fucking UFO in New Jersey. Everyone was psyched, and it just turns out that, no, it's Monday Night Football. It's just a blimp, and everyone's stupid. Almost caused massive car accidents as everyone's pulling over the side of the road.
No offense, but that was really compelling.
Well, different angle.
Well, yeah, it was compelling for like the 8-second video I saw and then just shared to you guys. I was like, oh shit, that's awesome. And then like once I started, you know, and I was also at work and not supposed to be on my phone. So like then once I got home and I do research and you look at the video and you actually like think a little more, you're like, ah, shit, nah. Why wouldn't an alien be in North Jersey? There's nothing fun there.
Plus,
or everybody else, like other pictures out there with this fucking Goodyear on it.
Yeah. Yeah, you get the right angle and it just screams Goodyear. and then there's the blinking light to to make sure other planes don't accidentally crash into it.
That's where it kind of like the credibility went downhill, but still was so compelling.
Yeah, man. Aliens are just scared of our planes accidentally hitting their very expensive spacecrafts.
Yeah. But at the same, I had actually saw that before you sent it. I saw it on a TikTok, but apparently there was other alien sightings in other states too, same day or similar time. But I don't know.
Blimps everywhere.
Well, there were 2 Monday night games, so the other blimp could just be at the other stadium.
So blimps.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was just with 2020, people forgot blimps still exist.
Well, it is.
I don't know why
people were hoping it was a fucking alien.
Yeah. Take me away.
It's actually more confusing that somebody still thinks that blimp advertising makes sense.
Yeah, at this point, like, does Goodyear pay the NFL, or does the NFL pay Goodyear? And like, how important is that blimp at this point when they have drones on the field and shit to like record the games? You don't really need the blimp camera.
Yeah, I don't think
anymore.
it's recording anything. It was just like advertising.
Yeah,
but it's like to the tune of like, it probably costs like $100,000 an hour to like run that fucking
but
piece
like
of shit.
if you watch the Monday night game, be like, oh, and this angle brought to you by the Goodyear blimp. Goodyear, get your tires here. There's like the sports commentator has to say this sentence every time.
Yeah,
because and it's like, do people really need to know to buy Goodyear tires? Is that like there's
Are there any other kind?
Well, yeah, and like I was just gonna say, there are like some companies like, does Oreo really need to like promote anymore? I think you know what Oreo is. I don't think they really need commercials. No one's gonna fucking forget about Oreos, but yet they still shelling out millions in commercials.
How often are we seeing Oreo commercials?
Well, now that I said it a bunch of time, just watch your news feed.
yeah, be on your iPad later.
Pumpkin spice Oreos.
Everyone
That's
spends money that we don't necessarily think needs to spend money, but like maybe it's just a constant reminder that's needed.
I guess it has to work on someone. Someone has to be like, oh yeah, I haven't had Oreos in like a while.
I'm thinking about it now. And it's been a long time since I had Oreos.
This episode not brought to you by Oreos.
Or Goodyear.
But if you guys want, I could say the same sentence the sportscaster says.
Yeah, send up big packages of fucking Oreos.
Well, my old doctor used to say that marketing, you need to see it in 3 different spots before you actually go out and like,
Buy it.
actually purchase said item or understand said place in 3 different spots.
That's like known.
Well, so
known
that's
tactics.
one of theirs.
Well, it's known tactics in business, but it's irrelevant for a company that's like them.
Yeah, I think to
you're not looking for the fucking plumber, and you need to see the plumber in 12 different fucking spots. You're like, I'll call these guys because my fucking faucet broke.
Yeah,
it's cookies. It's been around forever.
Yeah, like maybe smaller cookie brands, but maybe they can't get the airtime anymore because Oreo just buys all the cookie ads seconds.
Speaking of which, what happened to Keebler? I mean, they're around, but they used to fucking do commercials out the ass. Those little fucking elves.
Steve went to them. He was like, what the fuck do you guys need commercials for? You've been around forever. People are going to buy you anyway.
And now they barely have any shelf space, eh? Oreos got like an aisle.
That's because there's so many different types of Oreos.
Keebler's making tons of different shit.
There's not just one elf.
Yeah, there's the
Keebler's making
elves.
tons of fucking cookies, though.
Keebler's out here making the fucking Girl Scout cookies. Ain't no one talking about those.
That's how small they got. They got so small, they had to fucking sell their soul to the devil.
They had to steal from Girl Scouts.
Yeah, they had to sell their soul to the devil and sell Girl Scout cookies now.
Now they're gnomes.
Yeah.
That's what Keebler elves are. Oh, no. They're also Snap, Crackle, and Pop.
If I get reincarnated, I want to be a Keebler elf. Just make cookies.
In a tree. That'd be badass.
Yeah, but you never see any girl elves making things.
There was only one girl Smurf.
Yeah.
Don't want to talk about how other Smurfs got made, but there was only one girl Smurf.
Yeah.
Fucking blue hoe.
And she was way younger than Papa Smurf.
Yeah. And there's no... So, yeah. Don't know what Snap, Crackle, and Pop be doing behind closed doors. They be snap, crackling, and pop each other.
Anyway.
Some real weird shit going on over there. So what else you got about this?
Well, I mean, like a whole bunch of religions believe in reincarnation. For notably, well, like I said, like I think that reincarnation could have been taken out of the Christian Bible. That's just my thought. But let's get to the beginning. Like, what is reincarnation? Reincarnation is, as we can all agree on, is the rebirth of a soul in a new body, right? Or the recycling of a soul from one lifetime to another identity, or, shit like that. Just recycling, I guess. Right?
Yeah. Reduce, reuse, recycle your soul.
Yeah. The Hindus believe in it. The Buddhists believe in it. They call it samsara. The Hindus believe that when a person dies, their atma, which is our eternal self or soul, is reborn into a different body. They believe that karma is the destiny. Well, we know karma is the destiny or fate that you get from your actions here on earth, and that determines the atman's rebirth. But the Buddhists are different. They believe in rebirth, but they believe in reincarnation, but they believe it in a different way, is basically all I have to say about that. And even as far back as the 4th and 5th century, Plato, the Greek philosopher, was said to believe in frequent incarnations of the soul.
Do you believe in it because it's just nice to think like it's not the end?
Well, I mean, what's your belief? Even the Christians don't believe that death is the end. They believe you go somewhere. It's still a recycling. How's
it recycling? You do good, you go to heaven. You do bad, you go to hell.
You still exist, is what I'm saying.
But you exist, you don't go back to another body and do whatever you want to do again.
Okay, so it's more of a liberating process.
What do you mean?
Meaning you're just shedding the skin, but you're still there.
Still where? You go to heaven.
It's not like you end the existence of your soul.
Right, but really they don't think about reincarnation at all.
Well, if we were to say reincarnation, you have to come back to a fleshy being.
Well, yeah, what else are you reincarnating to?
Well,
can't be reincarnating to yourself somewhere else. Doesn't make any sense.
Well, you could.
Right. I mean, I guess what you're trying to say is at that point, it's not reincarnation. It's just a continuation of your soul's life.
Right. You're not here. You're up there.
Oh, no.
Or down there.
Now we're up there or down there.
That's what their belief is.
I don't know about that. Like, up where? When you go up, you're in space.
Well, yeah.
Which is apparently their heaven. What are you talking about? Come on.
He's just saying like that was a Christian belief.
Right. You're saying you got taken out of the Bible, but they believe you go to heaven, or you do bad, you go to hell. That's the true belief.
Or was it? Maybe it was different.
I mean, you're just making shit up. The true belief right now is taught to everyone that does that stuff. You do good, you go to heaven. You do bad, you go to hell.
There are certain,
but the other religions you're saying are taught.
That do believe in reincarnation. I don't know what they're called, but
that's not them then. Somebody else.
Yeah, they're a different segment.
But you're saying there are religions that believe in reincarnation.
Yeah.
The only thing that makes sense is when you meet somebody and you feel like you know somebody for a long time. It's the only way that makes sense at all.
Or you could have known them from heaven.
So why'd you go back?
Like, so where do you think you came from prior to being here? Did you just get invented right then and there?
Nobody knows.
Well, I'm just saying, you got to think critically right now. Like, what would you think?
Well, the atheists that we've talked to say that, what does the one guy say? What do you know before you were born? Nothing. See, you came from nothing. That's what he said, remember?
But a lot of people know things from before they were born. Like, what about those, like, genius children? Like, they're super, like, I don't know, like, talented on the piano. Like, nobody ever taught them how to play a piano, but they're playing a piano. Or nobody taught them how to do, like, calculus, but they're doing, like, crazy fucking math.
So what are you saying? They're bringing that back from a different time?
Well, where else would they get it from?
I don't know.
Just a thought.
Yeah, I mean, but there's the possibility that because not every human is born equally, that they're just born with a higher cognitive function than other children.
But they would have to have learned said function first.
I mean, yes and no, because aren't there kids with like autism that can just play the piano without being taught it?
What about the math?
I don't know. Math is math.
And yeah, there's certain kind of autism that, yeah, but again, they're savants. Those are few and far between. And they also probably use a whole different segment of their brain than we do.
Yeah, so the kids that are good in math, the kids that aren't on the spectrum, they might actually be on the spectrum, the ones that are good at math and good at playing the piano, and then they're just using a part of their brain that we don't use.
Okay, but again, critical thinking, where is that knowledge coming from? Like, they'd have to know that this key makes this sound and this key makes this sound, and or that math even exists. 1 + 1 is 2. And then there's like, if they're never taught it, where does the knowledge come from?
I mean, who's to say it comes from anywhere? They can't just think about it and make it up.
So they're making up math?
I don't know. Like, there's people that decide that they just end up being good at certain things. Some people suck at a lot of things.
Yeah, I know. I'm talking about like very young children. That's where it gets me, you know?
I mean, they can start just playing the keys on a piano and start realizing what sounds good to them, maybe.
Yeah.
The crazy are the ones that can just listen to a song once and just play the song right there again.
Right, so I'm not saying that's knowledge that they previously had. I don't know what I believe in. I'm just saying nothing makes sense.
It could just be how their brain functions on a different spectrum than other people.
Why isn't there a scientist out there that's fucking realizing that we're coming back to life? And then I'm still stuck on the numbers.
What?
There's your fucking math. Well, why do we keep growing? We keep getting more and more. It's not less and less.
Because you're not thinking outside of the box. You're only thinking about here in the
the world.
In the world, right? But other things and other religions think that soul is in many things, like trees and other things like that. Animals, trees, blades of grass, like everything is energy.
So why we extinct animals? Those animals become people now?
What about those blades of grass? They could become people. They're becoming more enlightened. That's kind of like the Buddhist way.
So what, because we paved over them, now they become people?
There you go.
That's stupid.
Yeah, man. Your soul could have been in T-Rex, man.
That seems cooler than a blade of grass. Asshole.
I didn't say you were particularly a blade of grass. Why are you looking at me?
Pretty sure you said your soul could have been a blade of grass.
Did I? Well, I didn't mean
Play
you. You could
I'll
have been
to
a
play
blade
it
of
back,
grass.
and I don't remember what you said now. It just doesn't make sense. The numbers don't make sense. Certain things make sense.
Nothing
Kids,
about numbers have to make sense. Like,
well, something has to make sense, otherwise it can't just fucking decide this is what it is.
It doesn't have to make sense. Why does anything have to make sense?
That's like what we do. We make sense of shit.
No. I mean, there's so many things you don't even understand that do exist. Like, how does electricity work? Tell me. Start to finish. Where does it come from?
If I looked it up and read it, I'd be like, oh, that makes sense.
Right, but
it's the
you
transfer of
personally
energy.
don't know it.
Hello? Transfer of energy?
That doesn't explain anything to us laymen's.
For electricity, it does. That's why water wheels take the energy of a rushing river, turn a wheel, and then you use that kinetic energy to make electricity.
Listen, Nick, I was talking to Steve when I said he doesn't understand how electricity works.
I never said I
there
didn't understand
is a
it.
reason why it works.
Right, but if I read it, I'd be like, oh, that makes sense. Done.
Right. Maybe there's just text out there we have never read. What about that library that burned down like a shit ton of years ago, or that was burned down, the Library of Alexandria?
Yeah, that one, scholars always say set us back a lot because like Egypt kind of stole all the information, kept it in one place, and then whoops.
That could have been like all the shit right there. Why we are reincarnated.
Should have had backup copies.
Those dudes are drawing pictures. They don't know shit.
It was a real librry.
Yeah,
but
it's like when Alexander the Great conquered shit, he would take all like books of text from other places and put it
I know.
in Alexandria.
Right, but she holds the Egyptians up to like a high standard where I think they're actually not all that smart.
No? How do you not think the Egyptians were kind of smart? Like, how do they
For what?
Even the Mayans and
For
all those people back
scaffolding,
then.
pulley systems, and like laying a fucking pipe on the ground and pushing a block over it.
Mm-hmm.
You just think aliens.
Hey, I mean, I think, yeah, I think that alien, but that's just me.
That could be your non-understanding of pulley systems.
Sure could be.
And a pipe, like a log on the ground. They put a log on the ground.
What about
and they can push a block across.
The exact locations of where they are? Did you ever see stuff like that on like Ancient Aliens or something?
Those people had a lot of time on their hands.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one thing that always gets me. Is they're like, how they do it? It's like, well, what do they do for the?
That was Greg's job. Greg, watch that fucking star.
You up 16 hours a day, just like chilling, like
just chilling.
Well, it's like they didn't have.
Yeah, they had like
They were surviving, Nick.
They didn't have
No.
Egypt.
It's hard back then.
I mean, not all of them. Most of them had slaves. The slaves were surviving, but the Egyptians were. They didn't have Egypt Facebook back then. They weren't, stuck into a screen. They were.
yeah,
just
there were a lot more.
They were
more
like
philosophers then.
they were like, fuck. There's nothing to do tonight. Well, I guess I could count the stars till I fall asleep. And they're like, wow, that looks like a cool shape. I guess that's an alligator.
Those are the Greeks. They made shit out of the stars.
I think. Oh, yeah. The Egyptians were just a bunch of furries.
Yeah, sure.
Fairies?
Furries, they're always wearing like animals and shit.
Well, yeah. All their gods were half man, half animal.
They did have a love for weird shit and cats.
Yeah.
Like the Sphinx, which people think that there's some shit inside the Sphinx. I'm not sure if you
Probably
ever
its
heard about
nose.
that. Yeah.
Didn't they
Shit,
like
it fell
already-
off. They just buried it underneath.
Meant to do that.
Didn't they already look inside those things?
No. They haven't gone inside the Sphinx.
Well, you don't
They
have
say there's
to. I
something in the right
I thought
right or
they
left
I thought they
shoulder.
X-rayed it
Oh, did
because
they? I
that's
don't know.
what they did to some of the pyramids because it's less intrusive than a bunch of dumb Americans going in and breaking shit, which is what most of like archaeology turned into.
A lot of other countries, though.
Well, yeah. No, the British too. Yeah, they did steal a lot of shit from less developed countries and to put into their museums.
I mean, what a terrible job anyway. Like, listen, for the next like 3 years, you're going to take this paintbrush, and you're going to move these sand particles
I
until
mean,
you find this piece of gold.
Yeah, that's
what
normal.
was it? One of the funniest questions I always think of when talking about this is like, how many years does it have to be before grave robbing turns into archaeology? Because all archaeology is technically it's just legal grave robbing.
Yeah, there should be like must be a limit on it.
Yeah, it's like
Like a historic
it's
car,
like,
you register like 25 years. So like, what's like?
maybe 100 years is too soon. Where's the
So, like,
where's
if
the
you're-
cutoff point?
If you're digging up, the
Like
anybody.
Vikings or somebody for their jewelry, it's okay because it's just archaeology.
Yeah, because you're just gonna remove that dead person and put it in a glass box for people to go ooh and ah at.
Yeah.
But if
The
like
best part is people that get paid for it.
yeah,
Like, hey, I'm going to sell this shit to museums. I'm like, what? And they get paid like a lot of money when you find those like all that Spanish gold and shit people used to find in the oceans.
yeah.
Oh,
They get a ton of money for that shit.
I want to dig in our backyard. What was here before us? Indians?
Nothing.
Probably dinosaur poop here or there.
Yeah.
I'd imagine you'd
Tom's
find
River, New Jersey.
nails from construction.
Oh yeah, you'd have to go like really far down because like even
Yeah,
'Cause-
let's
'cause, like-
excavate.
well like Rome's always like a great example because when you go to Rome and you see a building like the Parthenon and it's like 10 feet lower than the street around it because Rome is like the city kind of just like grew on top of the old city, so like everything's just like on top of where all the old shit was and that,
Yeah, it's weird over there.
yeah, but like that wasn't even built that far long ago. If you want to go and look for like good shit, just
Yeah.
use the same ratio to think of like how much
Well, they're building
like
on top of
sediment
an old.
yeah, but like how much sediment builds up in your backyard you'd have to go really far down to get the good shit. Especially if you're looking for
Yeah,
like
but
dinosaur
Rome's been
bones.
around. No one's been around forever. Like nothing's been around here.
Yeah, but like I still think there were probably like sediment buildup,
I imagine not much of anything.
possibly.
Maybe a
But-
fossil.
I would just say like
Some
I don't
fucking-
think you could dig 10 feet down and get like dinosaur skull
No,
because even oil is like hundreds of feet down.
it is weird though with Rome. Like they'll just go to do a building. They're like, oh shit, we found something.
Yeah,
We found someone's house.
yeah, we found a building from like 600 years ago. I guess we'll just build on top of it. They don't renovate over there. They just build on top.
Yeah, they don't reincarnate. They just crush.
They do not recycle their buildings. Except the Parthenon was a pagan house of worship, and now it's not. It's now a Christian house of worship. So that's like recycling.
See?
Sort of.
They were like this building we used to worship 10 gods in, but we don't believe that anymore.
So I was looking up this, back into reincarnation. I was looking up some stories and stuff, and I came across, I think you guys have heard of this one. I thought I told you about it, Steve, for sure. And I think you heard about it too, Nick, about this little boy named James Leininger.
See the pilot?
Yeah. James Leininger was born to Baptist parents. He was always content to play with planes and speak about them. Once at a museum that his father had brought him to, there was a World War II exhibit, and he didn't want to leave. He was obsessed with the exhibit. Ever since he was about 2 years old, these things started happening. Later, James would have night terrors about burning planes and how he tried to get out, and he couldn't. It would happen about 5 times a week. When he was drawing things, he would even sign things James 3. When asked about that, he would say he was the third James. He had very detailed memories. Once his mother started talking to him about it, he literally remembered taking off from the water and remembered the Japanese shot him down. They asked him if he had remembered what type of plane the little man that he spoke of in his dreams flew. He said it was a Corsair. They knew this was World War II fighter plane. Do you remember where your plane took off from? A boat, he said. I mean, how could he have known that these types of planes launched from aircraft carriers? He even answered properly with the name of the boat, the Natoma, and that was later found out to be the Natoma Bay. Once he was looking at a map with his father in a book that his father had bought his father for a present. There was a map of Iwo Jima, and he told his father that his plane was shot down there, and he pointed. Remembering the name Jack Larson in his dreams, his parents looked into it. They found Jack Larson was there, and he was leaked to the Natoma Bay. He was still alive. James Houston Jr., which he had been telling people he was James III since he was a toddler, he was shot down and never found. Went MIA. They contacted even Ann Houston Barron, that's James Houston's sister, asking her originally for photos. He had always claimed he flew a Corsair, which seemed impossible at the time, but it was found in the picture of James Houston standing near a Corsair. Also, down to the specifics of the planes tending to lean to the left. Upon investigation, this claim was also found to be true. There's no way a tiny baby would have had this knowledge. He specifically had G.I. Joe dolls with 3 of his past life friends' names. They were all in the military together. He named them properly, never knowing why. But he claimed they greeted him upon going to heaven. It was later found out that they were also servicemen with him, and that they had went to heaven prior to him. He mentioned once to his mother about a meatloaf she cooked. He said to her, "I hadn't had this meatloaf since the Natoma." They looked into that. It was confirmed that was one of the meals that they would have had on the Natoma. Bob Greenwald, who was also linked to this whole story, who coincidentally, when James met him in real life, little James Leininger knew exactly who he was immediately, named him and everything. He served with Houston, and he went looking for the debris as a second air flight over the harbor, and they were unable to locate anything. They eventually had a memorial, and he was able to let go of the past in a way, and they threw out flowers in solace remembrance and said goodbye to James Houston. And little James cried for some time. I mean, even people like Shirley MacLaine, the actress, believe she had many past lives, a few in Atlantis. Ironically, also, we have people like Henry Ford, who told the San Francisco Examiner, "Work is futile if we cannot utilize the experience we collect in one life to the next. When I discovered reincarnation, it was as if I had found a universal plan. Time was no longer limited. The discovery of reincarnation put my mind at ease." Even Thomas Edison was noted as having said, "The only survival I can conceive is to start a new Earth cycle again." I don't know. I kind of believe in reincarnation. Your soul has to recycle. It has to. Everything else does.
Maybe the kid had something to fucking finish. He died young, and that's it.
They did do a memorial over there. His parents bring him over there. They did a memorial, and he threw flowers, and he said to his former self that he will always remember him. And then I think there's even video of him crying, like sobbing for a small period of time. And
Wonder what the kid does now. He's like a gym teacher. No, man, I was in fucking World War II.
well, it said that actually helped him to kind of let go a little bit, because now and they say reincarnation stories of like when children remember their past lives, they say that it kind of like dwindles out after a while, like the memories.
Right, but this one's so documented and it was on TV and multiple. Like he obviously keeps remembering.
No,
So-
I think
Oh, you forgot now?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that now he's able to live a functioning life. Like before, it was more like consistent memories bombarding him, but now I feel like
Right. Almost
he's
like
let it go.
Almost like
You have to ask him.
if you had a dream.
I saw an interview.
Yeah, but almost like when you have a dream, right when you wake up, you remember it vividly, but then by the end of the day,
Yeah,
it's basically gone.
yeah,
Even if like, because I've even done, like I try to like remember it like multiple times in the day, but then still by the time I'm laying down, it's like I don't remember what that dream was. But it's almost like for the kids, because they're so young and new to life, they can remember it more vividly. And as they grow up, it's just kind of like teeters out.
yeah,
And maybe like for him, his parents like looked into it, but there are probably a lot of parents that are like, oh, my kid's just talking nonsense. And then it's like, well, maybe it wasn't.
yeah. Well, his sister was the one who sent the pictures. So I guess in theory, sorry to go back to that, but with him in front of the plane. So I guess he did meet his sister in theory. But that being said, I don't
It's
know,
not,
like
it's
our
not
kid
theory.
even
She sent the pictures.
our kid even said some weird shit like that, like about perhaps being in another life with us.
Yeah, you never know.
I don't see how how kids would want to make something like that up.
Yeah, maybe they don't, and then you forget.
Yeah.
So then why can't someone just remember where the fuck the numbers keep coming from?
Oh my God, you're still on that. Get over it.
How do you get over something like that?
Energy is ever expanding. Can't you think of it like that?
No.
Why?
Because you're saying it's souls, so how can there be that many more souls happening?
Well, what if one soul inhabited two bodies? You don't think that's possible?
I need someone to tell me.
Who's going to tell you?
The other
If
fucking
Nick told
soul,
you?
other Steven out there needs to be like, yo, bro, it's me. I'd be like, bro. Done.
Okay.
It's the only thing that makes sense is I have to be living somewhere else. I hope I'm doing great.
You don't,
Hope shit's happening for me. Like,
well, like you said, like when you meet somebody new or when you've met somebody, you've had that like instant connection. Has that ever happened?
what, instant connection?
Yeah, like, oh, you're very familiar. Like I could get along with you. I could like, it's like you always knew the person kind of.
Maybe. I don't remember.
What about you?
I actually don't know. I don't think I've ever had that like real connection, but I don't know if I ever like when I'm talking to a person like think about them in that way. I'm more like trying to remember their name.
Oh God. Well, we did find out last week that people think way differently, like with the lemon. That was interesting to me, how people could think so extraordinarily different. Like you weren't able to see the lemon.
No, I could. There just wasn't good instructions.
Yeah. Well, no, you were a third person looking at the lemon.
Yeah, I went God's perspective on myself. Weirdest thing ever. In that third person perspective, I didn't even have a beard. I can't even think of that part of me. I had to think to myself. I was like, wait, do I not look at myself in the mirror? Like that like when I try to think about what I look like it's just not there. The mirror's always foggy. That is always true. Like you see a picture of yourself, you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You have to look at this?
That's me.
Yeah.
Huh.
Like,
I'm way cooler, way hotter in my fucking head.
like, is that fish lens? Like, god damn.
No, but that I don't know. That really got me last week. Like how differently we can all think. What? How did you see it? How did you see
You didn't
it?
see
I
anything.
didn't say anything.
He didn't
It's-
see a
My
lemon.
mouth just watered, which is kind of irrelevant because
Your
you
mouth
could
always
you
waters.
could have like candy. I'm like, fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Candy. Mouth waters. Did your mouth
So-
water? Yeah.
So
Did you
the,
say chocolate? Yeah, dude.
so the example was you're supposed to visualize a lemon and then visualize eating it in segments of some sort. And so
Well, he tried like, first of all, it was like creepy soundings like that. Juicy lemon.
yeah.
And then you cut that sour, juicy lemon up.
And how are you seeing that right now?
How am I saying?
As you're saying it.
How I see a yellow ball.
And is it being cut or
No.
interesting? Even though you just said,
Is yours?
yeah, I'm visualizing every single thing you're saying in pictures.
If I really think about it, actually, I could cut it. The knife's fairly large, which is that.
you
That's
think
I know
of
it's
the
not
knife?
real because I want to use that big knife. Like you always like, gotta get the biggest fucking knife I can.
Make sure this thing's cut.
You fucking bust out a meat cleaver and a chainsaw. What are you doing? I'm cutting cake. like you're hacking
Shut
up a
up.
fucking
It was
body.
a frozen birthday cake.
You do it all the time. Like you want to.
I don't have the strength to cut it with a little
You
knife.
cut a bagel and you get like the fucking
The
katana
serrated.
out like off the shit from above a fireplace. I'm like, we don't even have this.
We don't even have a fireplace.
But you're fucking got this katana. You're like, yeah, I gotta cut my bagel, butter this shit up.
I'm looking for the most efficient, fast way of cutting something with my little hands. But yeah, I don't know. I totally believe in reincarnation. I believe, you know why? Because I feel like I've had an affinity for many people. Like I've met a lot of people in my life, and there's a certain few, not even 5 that I can mention, but there are some that I can say I have definitely been with in another life. Couldn't tell you how.
I mean, I guess it's feasible, but I can't say I believe like population keeps growing, but then what? You're gonna say the population started with fucking just 2 people anyway?
Oh, the whole Adam and Eve thing.
Right, like where did this whole start? Like we didn't start with 2 fucking dudes.
No, we started with a
Guy
fish.
and a girl, but
Two.
2 dudes.
Yeah.
What's up, bro?
It's Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. Come on now.
Yeah, like that theory is like really just not reasonable anyway.
No, we were a fish. You were a fish with legs.
This guy's over here, the fucking tadpole. Like, what are you talking about? Fish with legs.
Darwinism.
Yeah, that's the evolution. The first thing to walk on land was a fish with legs.
Like the lungfish to walk on land.
That fish is the reason why you pay taxes now.
I thought we're supposed to be coming from monkeys or some shit.
Well, eventually, but life starts in water. That's why whenever we like go to other fucking planets and moons or whatever, the most important thing they look for is water, because water is the essence of life.
I could
No, we gotta
disprove that
drink
whole
that
monkey
shit.
thing right now.
No, it's not just drink that. Like literally, microbes like need water to exist, and microbes are the beginning of life. And then through evolution, the microbes evolved into single cell organisms that then evolved into obviously multi-cell organisms that evolved into complex fish walkers.
That's what Rob
Sounds-
is in another life.
It sounds
He doesn't
more-
walk dogs. He
more
walks
reasonable.
fish.
Just that we just appeared here from like a higher being instead of being a fucking fish walker.
First of all, I could disprove the whole monkey thing right now.
Can you do that?
Because my blood doesn't come from that monkey. So there.
Right, because you're apparently alien.
No, because of the RH factor.
Or you're a fucking fish walker.
Yeah. There was more than one monkey that evolved.
Yeah, where is that other monkey?
They didn't find
Fish.
it yet. They found Lucy in like 2008. So we were just lucky to find her.
So lucky.
And
Her and Desi. Desi Arnaz.
so it's like you need like luckily she was just preserved well enough that they were able to like scrape some DNA off of her, but your fucking group, maybe you're like you're a Neanderthal. Like the Cro-Magnons, instead of killing them all out, that's where you come from.
Well, they can only trace the Rh negative blood back to, I don't remember, like not that long ago.
Yeah, but that just could also mean it's a form of evolution. Because technically, as beings, we are always evolving.
Which is why I'm more evolved than you guys, and I say reincarnation exists, and that's it. That's the end of our show.
Well, maybe if we're always evolving, maybe once we die, we decide to split ourselves.
Now we're splitting.
Yeah, maybe we evolved our soul.
Right. And then split that shit. I was like, listen, I'm going to go do this. And other me is going to go do that. But I forgot about that other me. And that's how the numbers grow. Boom.
Okay. There you go. Now do you
I mean,
believe?
K. That sounds more reasonable than
I can't even wrap my head around what you're saying, so that's
coming
why I
from
say
another
K.
fucking planet.
Well, not only another planet, another dimension, whatever.
You're splitting your energy, taking some energy, throwing it there, and some energy, throwing it over there.
Yeah,
And then you can do the
you're-
two things.
You're multitasking your soul.
Right. We're so evolved that we're multitasking our whatever the reason we come back for lessons or whatever the fuck we're
Yeah,
doing
so-
out here.
Yeah, so like the souls. Yeah, if like the soul was one, but then like you figured out that lesson, so that part of it just went off yonder, and then the rest of the soul had to come back to find out the next lesson.
So here's a question. Why did we do it in the first place? Why do we have this veil of deception? Etheric in dimension. Like, why do we have this? Why do we not know?
Because some dumb monkey millions of years ago just wanted to think cognitively once. We just got lucky with the brain that we evolved. Dogs don't think about where the fuck their soul is
How do you know?
because
Maybe they have an innate knowing. Just
Yeah,
like birds
what
could
about
fly
that, like,
to fucking Montana and every year take the same stream.
They do that because then little birds are born and they're like, what are we doing? We're like, we got to fly this way.
Mm-hmm.
My daddy did it, so. And the birds fly that way.
And how do animals know to go to higher ground before we even know that there's going to be a natural disaster? Like, how there's so
Isn't
many unknown
well,
things.
they feel that
that's
shit.
yeah, that's
And
the,
they look up there and they're like, what the fuck
Yeah,
is
there's
Joe
a-
doing?
there-
Joe's like, fucking, he's flying. He's like, fucking run.
Yeah. There's
And
usually
then-
like a drop in barometric pressure that we don't feel anymore because we've evolved past the point of needing to feel that. And so, but
We're
animals
told
still
to leave places.
Yeah.
We're like, nah, man.
Yeah.
I don't believe you.
Yeah.
And then we die.
Yeah.
So
Or like,
we're so evolved, we're fucking stupid.
yeah. Or like, oh, a hurricane's coming. Well, I'll just stay in this house. Next day on the roof, putting first responders at risk to get your dumb ass.
Hey, can someone get me? I misplayed this.
And then or like lost the whole house in a tornado and said we were going to rebuild in the same spot. Then 4 years later, a tornado comes again.
Yeah.
Like,
My grandpappy made this farm. Terrible spot, dude.
Yeah.
Terrible spot. That's how evolved we are. Dumb.
I'm not saying we're all very evolved. Just saying some of us may be evolved.
No, you evolved to the point of stupidness, maybe. Maybe we're going backwards, actually.
I always believe that.
That's why the Egyptians were so smart.
No, I just believe that
That's pulleys,
we
levers, pipes,
once the
aliens.
invention of technology, we started to de-evolve as a species because we never have to evolve for Darwinism to live anymore. We can now choose mates. We're not choosing mates based off of qualities. We're just choosing mates based off of emotion now. Like the fact that there are babies that are born that already need glasses prove that we are like de-evolving as a species because our eyes are regressing. And like, that's a trait that you're passing on. If you have bad eyes and you marry someone else with bad eyes, you guys have kids, that kid's has the higher probability of having bad eyes.
Oh, yeah.
But like, if like, let's say we were fucking cheetahs or something, you have bad eyes, you don't get a meal, you die, and then cheetahs with good eyes keep alive.
Oh, you just mean we were cheetahs.
Yeah.
I got confused. You said we're fucking cheetahs. I was like, yo, this is wild.
No, we're not. We're
Literally.
not.
fucking
wild.
wild.
But like once we started getting to the point of literally like agriculture and be able to settle and not have to fend for ourselves anymore, we as a species have started to like not improve anymore.
Probably.
We're like maybe that's why aliens
Back
are
in the
just
day,
smarter than us.
you would knock out the first woman who
Yeah.
had the traits you needed, and you would have sex with
Yeah.
her,
You would ooga
and you'd
booga
have
her.
a good
knock up.
gened baby.
Yeah.
You said knock out. Like, yo, bitch.
Yeah.
You're mine.
But
Yeah, like the caveman.
Yeah,
They would go
you-
knock her on the head and go knock her up.
Yeah, you
Drag that bitch
yeah,
back.
man, you just go ooga booga her real quick.
Ooga, booga.
Yeah,
It's not even
That's
sexy.
all it takes to
I'm
finish.
glad we evolved.
Ooga booga.
yeah, but like, yeah,
A
just-
whole nother time could be the talk of the downfall of society based purely off the internet.
Well, yeah, that's always a possibility. Once you become top of the food chain, what are you evolving for anymore?
We're being programmed into what something else wants us to be,
Yeah, which is just good consumers.
basically.
Yeah, did you see The Social Dilemma?
Not yet.
Oh, it's so good. I have to watch it again and again.
It's one of the things you have to watch like 25 times to pick up different things.
It's something
Basically-
Steve still has to watch because he fell asleep.
Right? You realize how much we're just being mind fucked all the time.
Yeah,
Unless that was to make us, now we're mind fucked, thinking we're mind fucked, and we're totally
Well, yeah.
mind fucked.
That's
so fucked.
This is so trippy. I need
Well, no,
to
that-
walk out of the room and get some
that's
air.
always like the argument is when people like do those like videos that are like, oh, we spend so much time like looking at our phones, and it's like supposed to be like this inspirational thing of like people are just like looking down or whatever. And it's like, yeah, but you have to use media to tell people to not use media. But if
Yeah.
people don't use media, then they're not watching your media to learn to not use media. So it's a
It's a media
never-ending
problem.
It's a never-ending cycle. Like if
No, I like all
if the
those,
social dilemma is trying to tell you to not do something, but you need to do it in order to know not to do it.
Yeah, I get held up on those when people are like, "Oh, everyone that's riding the train is just looking at their phone." I'm like, yeah, but like, let's say it's 2020, so like 15 years ago only, everyone's looking at the fucking newspaper.
Well, yeah,
No one was like, "Hey, man, what's up?" Doesn't matter.
yeah. they were-
Probably people were more social. I
No.
mean, yeah,
I
maybe
just
people
said
were
no.
looking at their phone, but other people were looking around, people watching, and people were having their like headphones in their ears, listening to music, but still looking around.
Same shit, man.
Now
Which is-
we're walking and we're not even looking at where we're going. Like,
I mean,
scary.
that's separate of what I was saying.
Similar.
No.
Yeah.
No, people just, instead of reading text and driving, they're just reading a fucking newspaper and driving
Yeah, okay.
right across the fucking steering wheel. Oh, yeah, the stock market's up today.
Uh-huh.
yeah, and then the great crash, like holy fuck, and just whip the wheel real quick.
Yeah.
Or they were listening to the radio, telling them about the stock market.
How far until radio's done?
Oh, no. Well, we still have Sirius.
Well, that's satellite. That's what I've been like. I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping out recently, but I've been on this kick of just like while driving, looking at like telephone poles, and I'm just like on this mind that like the world's really fucking weird that we just have like these dead trees everywhere that run cables from one side to the other nonstop just so like we can all function as a society. And I'm just like, to me it's making like the landscapes look weird.
Yeah, that's why Steve said everything should be underground.
Yeah, but like that's hard to work. Like I get why they're above ground; it's easier to work on, but it also makes them easier to disasters.
Yeah.
Right. My point was, everyone's so worried about like jobs. You know, easy to be if we just funded underground fucking every cable
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I'm
into
just
tunnels into
well,
whatever.
I'm just thinking like when's the future gonna be that like maybe we don't even need cables anymore? Like if
You can do that when you're reincarnated.
You
like
could come back as Tesla.
like right off the bat, like those cables have like telephone wire on them that is unnecessary almost.
Oh, most of that shit that's up there. If you actually look, there's just cables just hanging because there's
Yeah.
all types of fucking
Yeah.
shit that's just not
you,
needed.
you
It's
don't
just-
you don't need that. So like and
it's,
like
it's certain companies are like, oh, we can't touch that. It's Joe Blow's.
yeah, but
cable.
like most like internet is trying to go fiber optic, which runs underground anyway, and with like
5G.
3G, 4G, 5G, you don't need like if you have an unlimited data plan, you don't even need like internet in your house unless you're hardwiring a computer.
I mean, ideally, all that stuff disappearing to underground and the rest of the shit gone is ideal.
Yeah,
Except for the fact that dead zone that I hit every so often on my way to Starbucks.
well that's
Completely dead.
just like your plan, like that. It annoys,
Which is ironic because there's a store right there.
yeah.
Yeah, fairly close.
But it's like it's so annoying when I go up to Pocono Raceway for NASCAR. AT&T doesn't
Yeah,
work.
we'll see you
out
guys
there.
next week.
Yep,
What?
bye.
Well, no, it's just like
We're deleting this part.
It's just like up there, AT&T doesn't work. Like Verizon completely fine, AT&T down. But then when I went down to Talladega, like AT&T amazing, got everything. All my friends with Verizon, they couldn't do a damn thing down there. They couldn't. Their phone just was a paperweight for the weekend.
But that's funny because I heard all cell phone towers ping off the same shit. Like they share, don't they?
Apparently not.
Yeah, but I don't know. I remember learning about it like years ago about like corporate monopolies that like will like just like take a section. Like AT&T would be like, all right, you could like to Verizon, you could have like this section, but you're not allowed to be in this section. It's like kind of like, so you're forced to use their service. Even like Comcast and shit. I'm like Comcast be like we only work here, and DirecTV will only work over there. So it's not like people think they have choices, but they really don't have choices because like they like companies just have the in with each other to like let them have specific areas.
It's ridiculous.
So it's the illusion of choice, which is what most consumerism is.
Yeah, really. So to recap, Nick, where do you feel about reincarnation?
Literally still up in the air.
Up in the air, Danielle?
I will always believe in reincarnation.
I'm going to go with plausible. And as always, you guys can find us at thebeerlatteshow.com and the Beer Latte Show on Instagram and Facebook and Beer Latte on Twitter. We'll see you guys next week.
Yeah. This drip all on my body, soaking wet the Sani. Looking like a walking liquor.